Good morning, everyone. This is Samad here from WeBind Education Technologies, Mumbai. WeBind brings industry experts live into your classrooms. And for today's session on Internet of Things, we have got Mr. Pranav Vernaker joining us. Mr. Pranav is the CEO of Bolt IoT, or Inventrom, as you can call. And Mr. Pranav is the recipient of Entrepreneur Award of the Year 2015. Alumni of Goa Institute of Management. He's been in the business for the last 5 years. So without any further delay, I invite Mr. Pranav to take over. Sir, a quick update. We have got the following colleges joining in. We have got DJ Sangvi College from Mumbai, Karunya College, Sankalchand Patel College of Engineering from Visnagar, and Vizag Institute of Technology. So over to you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Samad, for the introduction. Hi, everyone, and good morning. It's great to be speaking to all of you. As Samad has introduced, my name is Pranav Vernaker, and I'm the CEO of Inventrom. Well, we at Inventrom have been in the Internet of Things space from last almost 4 years. And to our credit, it is one of the bold Internet of Things platform. I'll be speaking about it as we go along. Our company, we are located out of Goa, so that's one very interesting part about us. It's great to be here and working out of Goa. And before we get started into what is Internet of Things, how it works, how the technology works, how the communication works, and so on, I very strongly believe that any technology, one of the greatest things about any technology, if you want to study it, is we need to first study about how it is solving problems, how it is making lives of people better, and how it is helping them improve. So before we jump into the technical part, I thought of picking up one example of Internet of Things, which is very common. And one of the major problems that we face across different cities in India is the parking problem, right? We know wherever you go, all the big cities, it's always tough to get parking space out there. I thought of taking, I stay in Panjim, and these are three of the locations in Panjim city. One is Kampal, Azad Maidan, and Municipal Garden. And let us say after this webinar, I want to travel to, I have got work in all these three places today. Now imagine I can take out my smartwatch and it will just show me which of these locations have got the maximum traffic. Let's say, for example, if it shows in red, which means Municipal Garden has got maximum, very little parking space available, while Kampal has got a lot of parking space available there. So I can take out my watch, it will show me where there's parking space available, and I can simply select that space, select that location. It will show me also how the parking space is varied over the day. And I can choose that space, and my Google Maps will open and take me to that location. In fact, it will take me right to the location where the particular parking space is available. Now, to do this, what it means is that we need to connect sensors on the road, let's say pressure sensors, which are going to check if the car is parked on top of them, measure the weight, and send that data to the cloud over the internet. And my watch is going to retrieve that and tell me whether the parking space is available or not, and where the parking spaces are available. You could use like proximity sensors to detect if there is a car parked above them, or you could use a pressure sensor about it. Now, why I would say, what makes this technology so great is about now today, road, which is there, is going to be connected to the internet. The road will have its own account, and it starts sending the data to the cloud. It's connected to internet, and that is what when we talk about Internet of Things is connecting physical devices, objects, machines to the internet, like whether you have your factories, or whether it's simple things like cars and doors and windows. Connect all these things to the internet, and that's what we call the Internet of Things. Before we move forward, I've got one interesting video. Let me just play that for you.
The origins of the internet date back to the 60s with the initial experiments about computer communication systems. From the very beginning, it was conceived as a global network to exchange information and digital contents without restrictions of time or distance. Over the last years, Internet has evolved at an exceptional speed. Currently, there are about 2 billion people connected to the network. With the advent and proliferation of mobile devices, the way how we access the internet has also changed. The number of electronic devices that can be connected to network services has increased dramatically. But internet connectivity is also possible beyond these devices. Every object around us may be connected, collecting, processing, and sharing information. The Internet of Things opens up a new world of infinite possibilities. Can you imagine using running shoes that are able to upload to a website the time, distance, speed, and calories burned during the activity? And what about this information being stored on the internet to track your progress over time? Can you imagine wearing a t-shirt connected to the internet, mirroring changes in your social network, or displaying alerts about your favorite topics? Can you imagine your son interacting remotely with children from other countries or cultures through an internet-connected toy? Day after day, there are more objects and devices that use the internet, which contributes to the creation of a smarter planet. It is estimated by year 2020, there will be more than 50 billion objects connected to the internet, an average of 6 devices per human on Earth. Smart accounts, social networks, furniture, sensors, smart cities, toys, people.
Yeah, so this was very like a brief overview of what IoT is, connecting different devices to the internet. Now, of course, these were a lot of these examples that the first example that I gave you, or some of the examples shown here. These are more of fictitious examples that I gave to just get started off. But one of the very popular IoT products that are being used in homes and used by common people today is for lighting. IoT is very popularly used in different. So one of them, for example, is Philips Hue or LIFX. These are some of the lighting products which are there and being used for Internet of Things. I've got one video of one of such product which is available in the market. You can go out and purchase. Let me go ahead and play that video. This is LIFX. LIFX is an Internet of Things light bulb. So what it does is, you can connect it, control it via a smartphone. It can come on at the right time, just like an alarm. And it can even alert you and send signals as and when needed. So LIFX lets you switch on your lights even if you're away from home on a personal vacation. You can still click a button and start the lights. It can even create mood. You can choose the kind of lighting that you want, the colors that you want. You have a full freedom to access and control them. And all of this through your smartphone, because each of these light bulbs are connected via the Wi-Fi to the internet. Even when you're playing music on your smartphone, it can automatically change the color for the moon. How Internet of Things is coming into our homes. The light bulbs now get connected to the. In fact, it is said that by the year 2020, Cisco has estimated that there will be 50 billion devices connected to internet, and IoT is expected to be a 14 trillion industry. Now, these are huge numbers. I mean, 14 trillion is a very, very big number, and that's how big the market of Internet of Things is, and that's how fast it is growing. Now, let's look at another example. Now, this is a company located out of India, Kalos. What they are building in Internet of Things space is smart heart monitors. Now, if you're a heart patient or if you're recuperating from heart surgery, what they would do is they give you this tiny device called as Mobman, which can fit into your pocket and connect to your smartphone. And these are the tiny ECG leads which you can connect to your body. And even as you're walking around or even as you're traveling, this will continue to monitor your heart. This is very useful for heart patients. And in case
So sorry for the interruption. Pranav is just joining us in a couple of minutes. Please stay tuned.
hello, yeah, am I audible?
Yes, it is audible clearly.
It's audible, right? I can go ahead. Okay, just give me 1 second. Yeah, is this fine?
Oh yes, it's working.
Okay, sure. Really sorry, I think there was some issue with the internet connectivity, so I've just switched over to a different network. So whatever examples that I spoke of, they were more often high-end examples, where IoT was being used in things like, for lighting, but these are very high-end costly lights. Each light bulb will cost you about 7,000, 8,000 rupees. Or in terms of technologies like controlling, physical, your travel and your roads and so on. But here is one example I wanted to give about how IoT is being even used to the bottom of the pyramid. People, even in villages today, are embracing IoT. So this is an IoT Bond Monitor. Now, this is again a product which has been built on our old Internet of Things platform. Now, if you look at one of the tobacco is one of the very commonly grown crop in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Once the tobacco crop is harvested, the next step they do is there is a curing that happens. So where the tobacco is put in barns and it is being kept there for drying, and they use wood to burn in the furnace so that the temperature is maintained at a right level. Now, as I said, when this curing process takes place, one of the major factor here is the temperature and humidity levels. The temperature and humidity should always be maintained at a particular level. Now, this is traditionally, farmers used to just do it by touching their hands to it, and they'll be like, okay, is this theek hai, garam hai, nahi hai, and kind of a thing. But it's not always very accurate, so which would mean that there were a lot of losses for them. And at the same time, even if they are going to get this data, let's say there is a company like ITC, which would have their head office in Kolkata, would never know how it is being operated by the farmers in villages, in Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh. So there was a clear-cut requirement there for them to control and monitor this curing process. So when the tobacco leaves are harvested, they're put in this barn for curing. And so this is where we went around building this product for them to connect their devices to the internet. Now, so this is how it works. So this is like the barn monitor. If you see, it's in a complete, very remote location. So that's one of my colleagues installing the device, and you'll see there are cows and chicken and goats around. So that's the kind of environment in which these monitors are being installed. And so yeah, this is right in their home. I mean, in the barns which are located. These villages are about 150 kilometers from Bangalore. Where there is not even motorable roads available. And how IoT is helping them is that these barn monitors have sensors connected to them, which go inside the barn. And so if you see the brick wall, that's actually a barn. And if you see there is a silver colored flue pipe there, and you can even see the furnace right below the flue pipe. What happens is, when this curing process is taking place, this data which is collected by the barn monitor is continuously sent over the internet to the cloud. So the barn monitor sends the data to the cloud. Now let's get a little bit into the technical aspect. So this communication from the barn monitor to the cloud generally happens over the MQTT protocol. Now, I won't go much deep dive into what MQTT is, but I would suggest you that if you're particularly interested in IoT, to have a look at MQTT. It's one of the most popular and common protocols that are used in the Internet of Things field. So your data is connected continuously to the cloud, is being sent continuously to the cloud over MQTT. From the cloud, I can log into my device. So from the cloud, the data can be accessed by me using my web browser. So what I would do is I would go to cloud.boltiot.com. That's the web page. And I would have a certain amount of security there. So I would enter my username and password, and I would click on the login button. Once I log into the device, into my system, so the data is going from the barn monitor. There is a sensor. The sensor is connected to my IoT barn monitor. Now this barn monitor has got a SIM card on it. So over 3G, it will connect. It will send the data over the internet to the cloud. So from my sensor to the 3G device, 3G barn dongle, which is there. If you see on the left-hand side, there is a white colored dongle. The sensor is not visible in the photo. The sensor is connected. If you see, there's a silver colored connector right below there. And from that, there's a white colored dongle. The dongle has got SIM card in it, which will send the data over the internet via MQTT protocol, very popular protocol for Internet of Things, to the cloud. And from the cloud, I can log into my portal. I type into cloud.boltiot.com and I can click on login, and I'll start getting access to the device. So once I log into it, it will show me different devices that are available. It shows like device 1, device 2, device 3, device 4, and device 5. So whatever device, so I've just changed the names here because I'm giving it as an example, but this is exactly how the screen for ITC will look in. And let us say I am located in a remote location, let's say somewhere in Kolkata, while the farmer is curing it in, let's say in Karnataka. You can click on the device name. Just simply click on the device name, and it will open up a window where it will start showing the temperature and humidity for you. So it will start showing you the graphs. Now, the question comes is if I'm getting these graphs, why is this so important? How does it help me? Or how does it help ITC? Well, Now they are continuously collecting the data about the temperature and humidity levels in these barns of ITC. And this data is very useful for them to take their decisions. Tomorrow, let us say I want to know at what temperature does it give me the most optimum crop value. What will make sure that I get the best quality crop? So this data is continuously collected, which otherwise would have never been possible, right? I mean, if you're so far away and there was no sensor, you would have never got this data. At the same time, they can know if a farmer is following the instructions given by them. They can monitor them, they can control them. And what happens is, when they have to make the payment to these farmers, it is done on the basis of the quality that they provide. So if they have followed the regime that has been asked them for them to follow, if they have kept to the requirement, then accordingly they can they decide on what salary or what is the amount remuneration that they pay for them. So this is again an example where IoT is not just in big cities or to the rich people. Even to the farmers in the remotest areas are getting benefited from Internet of Things. And to proceed further, I've got this very, very interesting use case of how IoT is being used. Now, I'm sure, how many of you love dosa? Can I see a show of hand? How many of you like dosas? I can just raise your hand, right? I mean, it's something which we love, right? Food. Now, imagine this. Okay, you take out your smartphone, you just start an app, and it will show you the different types of dosas available. You click a button on it, and it starts cooking and there's a machine which is connected over the internet, will start cooking the dosa for you. Interesting, right? So there is a startup in Bangalore called Mukunda Foods, and they are building this automatic dosa makers, and they are also using our Bolt Internet of Things platform to make their dosas IoT enabled. Let me go ahead and show you a quick video about how Mukunda Foods product works. This is a video, of course, it was taken a little earlier before the IoT system was integrated, but let me just go ahead and show you the video.
Somatic is first of its kind, fully automatic tabletop dosa making machine. It makes scrumptious dosas simply at the click of a button. To use the machine, switch on the power supply. Install the batter tank, oil tank, and water tank over the machine and fill in the tanks with batter, oil, and water respectively. Now, wait for a while as the pan gets heated. Meanwhile, you could select specifications of your dosa, including in size, thickness, the amount of oil to be added, and also the preferred amount of roast of the dosa. All this just at the touch of a button. Wait for 60 seconds while your dosa is spread, cooked, roasted, folded, and served piping hot. You could also add a variety of fillings in your dosa. To do so, open the access panel and add the desired filling onto the dosa. Throw in some potato masala or some yummy butter, and your dosa comes fully stuffed with your choice of filling. As you can see, the machine is compact and portable. You can install it anywhere and make more dosas in extra time. The machine is simple to use and maintain. It does not require skilled labor to handle it, hence maximizing your profits and giving you peace of mind. Now, with Dosamatic, it is easier to run a successful dosa joint than ever before. Please visit www.mukundafoods.com to know more about Dosamatic or call 8088-496-555, a product designed, developed, and manufactured in India.
So, well, this is again an example, where IoT is getting used. People are building machines which can cook food for you, and then, they're now looking at even connecting them to the smartphones. Now, the question will come in again is, why is this being used? How does this help with the system? Okay, so the question, of course, comes in is how is it helping us in the whole system? Or okay, let me just. There seems to be some issue with the thing. Yeah, so sorry, there was for the little bit of a glitch. Now, a lot of these examples that I showed you were, I mean, these are some of them are actual products that are there, and some of them, which are now, I mean, some of them are a little bit of an examples where I see the world going into. Now, one of the very popular TV series is Big Bang Theory. I'm pretty sure a lot of you must be fans of Big Bang Theory. And there is a small clip of Big Bang Theory which I wanted to show you, where this was in 2009, where they showed this clip, even when the term Internet of Things was just being coined, and where they actually used Internet of Things in one of their episodes. Of course, they showed it as a fiction, and while today it's almost a reality. Let me just go ahead and play it for you.
Okay. The X10s are online. Gentlemen, I am now about to send a signal from this laptop through our local ISP, racing down fiber optic cable at the speed of light to San Francisco, bouncing off a satellite in geosynchronous orbit to Lisbon, Portugal, where the data packets will be handed off to submerged transatlantic cables terminating in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and transferred across the continent via microwave relays back to our ISP and the X10 receiver attached to this lamp. Look at me, I've got goosebumps. Are we ready on the stereo? Go for stereo.
Hey guys!
Hello.
It's a little loud.
No problem, turning it down. San Francisco, Lisbon, down.
Okay, thanks.
Hang on, do you not realize what we just did?
Yeah, you turn your stereo down with your laptop.
No, we turned our stereo down by sending a signal around the world via the internet.
Oh. You can just get one of those universal remotes at Radio Shack. They're really cheap.
No, you don't get it. Howard, enable public access. Public access enabled.
Boy, that's terrific, but I'll see ya.
No, hang on. See?
No.
Someone in Sichuan province, China, is using his computer to turn our lights on and off.
Well, that's handy. Here's a question. Why?
Because we can. They found the remote control cars.
Well, wait, what's on top of that?
Wireless webcams. Wait below. The monster truck is out of Austin, Texas, and the Blue Viper is being operated from suburban Tel Aviv. You may want to put on slacks.
What? Ew, stop it. No, leave me alone.
Who's running the red Corvette? That would be me.
Well, so that was one of the examples of how IoT was even being shown in Big Bang Theory long time back, even before the term IoT was not coined. They showed it as a fiction, but today it's a reality. So these were some of the examples and use cases of Internet of Things that I spoke about. Where IoT is used, connecting various devices, right from farmers to lightings in the home. They're used in cars to roads and all across. Now let's get, now I just wanted to spend the last few minutes of the webinar telling you about some of the work that we do at Inventrom in the Internet of Things space. So we have this Internet of Things platform by name Bolt. What Bolt does is Bolt is an Internet of Things platform that enables you to quickly and easily build IoT prototypes as well as projects. Bolt lets you control and monitor your devices over the internet or over smartphone apps, as well as control and monitor from anywhere in the world. So when we talk about Bolt, we offer you generally a hardware module that can be plugged into your devices. We also have the cloud platform that will let you communicate over the internet. And also we provide the user analytics and data so that you know how the product is being used. One of the very unique feature of Bolt is that it comes with an iPhone and an Android app, and building apps on Bolt is extremely simple. I mean, or you just need to write your code in HTML and your apps are ready to go. We also provide with open APIs, which are easy, which makes it very easy to interface it with other devices, as well as we also have an online workshop, where you can learn Internet of Things and how you can build IoT projects using the Bolt platform. I'll talk about the workshop in next few slides. Talking about Bolt, I mean, it's been very popular. We was winner of the Internet of Things Tech 10 by Intel and IBM. We were also winners of the Lockheed Martin India Innovation Growth Program, and it was also showcased in the Silicon Valley during the Prime Minister of India's visit in the year 2015. Even the media has been speaking some great words about it. Networked India said that the Bolt is aiding Davids to compete with Goliaths in the IoT space because it makes it so easy for anyone to start building IoT products. And one of the things that I also wanted to cover is I'm sure many of you would be looking at getting into the Internet of Things space as IoT developers. You would want to build your own startups in the IoT space. At the same time, also join a lot of other IoT companies that are out there today. And it's a very fast growing field with excellent opportunities. And some of the skill sets that you would need or things that I would suggest you start working on are, now IoT is a very diverse field. It includes hardware as well as software. Now on the software side, some of the important skills are web technologies, learning about cloud computing, analytics, as well as security. Security is very, very important in IoT space. I'm speaking next week on a webinar for Bank of America. Now, these banks, for example, when they use IoT, it becomes extremely crucial for them to use, to have a great amount of security. You don't really want anybody to coming and stealing your data. On a smaller scale, so today they are even building IoT safes, where you can put the password in your button on your phone and the door will open up. But you really don't want anybody hacking into that. So security, analytics, cloud, and web technologies are important parts of software. If you're a computer science student, that's something which you need to look out for. On the hardware side, embedded systems is what is very crucial for Internet of Things, so which includes microcontrollers, sensors. I have not mentioned sensors here, but sensors are very important to learn about sensors, microcontrollers, embedded systems, as well as wireless communication, which happens, as I said, over MQTT. Is one of the protocol, of course. You use Zigbee and Bluetooth. All these various protocols are used in wireless communication for Internet of Things. So these are some of the areas you need to learn and develop skills if you're looking at joining Internet of Things companies or even starting off your Internet of Things startup. One of the things that I also wanted to show you is about which companies are going today into Internet of Things space. And what I did was I just Googled for companies in Internet of Things space, and I got this. And if you look at it today, almost every single big company is looking into Internet of Things space. I can see Verizon, AT&T, Apple, there is LIFX, Nest, some of those examples which I showed you some time back. You have Tesla, Ford, whether the car companies or sensor companies or robotics, and even so there are cloud companies, even Amazon, Best Buy. All companies across are very heavily invested into the Internet of Things space, and simply because it is a huge market today. There's a huge scope for companies, and for you guys as engineers, there's a huge scope to develop products in Internet of Things space or learn and get some really great jobs in the Internet of Things space. And so one of the things that when we were talking about it is we realized that this 1 hour webinar might be too short for us to get you deep dive into the Internet of Things space to have something hands-on and build and learn the technologies. So I thought of sharing also across with you about a workshop on Internet of Things space that we have. We at Bolt IoT also conduct trainings for students in the Internet of Things space. It's an online training that we have, which is we have students and working professionals and corporates taking it. Let me just go ahead and quickly play a video on the same.
Everything around us is getting smart and connected. Hence, we have developed an Internet of Things workshop that will teach you to build internet-connected devices, objects, and products. As part of this workshop, you will learn to build some exciting projects such as controlling your home appliances over a smartphone app, build social media connected objects and products such as a chair that can tweet or a door that can update its Facebook status. Learn to monitor environment, machines, and send the data to cloud as well as analyze it to get insights and take actions. We have extensive experience of training in IoT. We have trained more than 3,000 working professionals and students across the globe in India, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, and United States of America. We have trained professionals from organizations like Intel, IBM, Cisco, and Siemens, as well as engineering institutes like IITs, NITs, and BITS. Our Internet of Things platform board has won various awards and is one of the best to build IoT projects and products. So register now and build Internet of Things.
So this is a workshop that we are having on the Internet of Things space. It's an online workshop. You can log on to the website boltiot.com and you can create an account there and you can start taking the workshop. So once you register for it, we courier across the hardware kit to you, to your college or to your home, and you can take the workshop over the internet and we provide support over forum or WhatsApp as well as phone and email. So it's an excellent way to get started off with Internet of Things. We have had more than 1,000 students who have taken it in last 5 months, and I'm sure that's something which you will enjoy. So I would do suggest that you should take up the workshop and learn, so that will help you really develop skills for IoT. We will cover concepts in terms of the microcontrollers, sensors, as well as HTML, web technologies, cloud, data communication, wireless. So all these skills which are needed for Internet of Things will be covered in the workshop. It's about a 60 hours workshop, and we will go in detail about each of these concepts as part of the workshop and train you on that. It's a complete hands-on workshop, as I said. So once you register, we courier the kit to you, which will include a proximity sensor, LDR, 1 bolt unit, and output devices like LEDs, buzzers, and so on. So you can start building your products and projects as you go along during this workshop. So that's something which I would really suggest you to take it up. And the fee for this workshop that we charge, which includes the hardware kit, is 8,750. So we charge 8,750, which includes the hardware kit take home as well as the training and the tutorial for you. And as we were doing this webinar today, we thought that since you guys have come in over and taken up the webinar, we thought of offering you the workshop. And we said that we suggested that we should have a discounted price. So we're going ahead and offering this workshop for all of you, which is worth 8,750 to all the participants of this webinar. For the next 3 days, absolutely free of cost. So you only will have to pay for the hardware kit, which we ship with the workshop, which costs you about 1,975, and the workshop is absolutely free for you all. So you will have to log into the website boltiot.com and use the code VBINDFREE. And the workshop, which is worth 8,750, you'll just have to pay 1,975, which is for the hardware kit. So the training is absolutely free of cost. You only have to pay for the hardware kit, which will be couriering across to you. Of course, the offer is valid only for next 3 days after the webinar. So only if you register before 21st of July 2016, you can use the code VBINDFREE, WEBINDFRE. So this is the code you'll have to enter on the website www.boltiot.com. and you'll get the workshop. So it will immediately reduce the price just to the price of the kit, and you will get the workshop free of cost. boltiot.com and VBINDFREE. That's the code that you need to use for the workshop. So thank you so much. That's all I had from my side. I think if you have any questions or queries, you can ask now. These are also my contact details, the mail ID, Twitter, as well as a phone number. So if you have any doubts, queries, you can of course ping me on that. But if you have any queries now, I think we can take the questions.
Thank you, Pranav, for this session. Now the forum is open for question and answers. All the colleges, you are on mute right now. But if you have got any question, just raise your hand and I will unmute that college. Besides, you can also use the chat box which is available. Karunya College, do you have any question for Mr. Pranav? Yes, Karunya College, any question? Sankalchan College, any question? Okay, there is one question coming in from JIT.
Sure.
Is there any simulator available for research work is the question from JIT Jodhpur. It is there up on the screen on the chat box. Can you see the question? I've just pinged you there.
Yeah. Is there any simulator available for research work? So I believe you're talking about simulator for the Internet of Things. I'm not aware of any specific simulator as such for IoT. But what I would suggest a good way for IoT is one of the things that people generally use is use platforms. So that really quickens the research time as well as testing time. So what let's say, for example, if you use Bolt, then very easily you can connect your sensors, and so the development time goes down a lot. So, and there are platforms available for different areas, like Amazon has its cloud platform. For hardware, you've got Bolt is one of the example, or there is Spark.io, some of these platforms that are available. So I'm not aware of a specific simulator that will simulate it. Of course, again, I've also seen people using their computers to just send the data over the internet. So a lot of times I've seen, especially Linux users, to use the terminal of Linux to send the data to the cloud and test it. So you would either use a platform like Bolt or Amazon AWS, or you've got Particle.io and so on, or you can just use your computer connected to the internet to send the data. No, but I'm not aware of a specific simulator as such in the Internet of Things space.
I hope that answers the question. Any more? Okay, there's another question from DJ Sangvi.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see? Okay, so the question is, hello sir, my name is Ashish from DJ Sangvi College. My question to you is how IoT can develop intelligent cities or help in intelligent governance.
Absolutely, and that's something which is a huge field today. When we are talking of smart city project, IoT is expected to be one of the major part of it. Now, when you're talking of intelligent cities, one of the examples that I spoke in the morning was about connecting roads to the internet, where you can check whether there is parking space available. Or another area where IoT is already being used, not much in India, but outside India, where you can track the location of the cars in the traffic. In fact, sorry, I think it's even used in India today. When you look at Google, when you use Google Maps, where it can show you the traffic, which road has got more traffic and less traffic. So these are some of the areas where IoT is already used in building smart cities. Another very interesting startup, when you're talking about intelligent governance, what comes to my mind is one of the startup called as Transerve. I think that Transerve Technologies, they're also located out of Goa. What they do is they provide these sensors that can be connected across various shops and buildings. and it will just monitor which shops are being used and which areas are being used, and based on it, they help government in taxation. For example, if there is a water tank, then they will also connect the again, I know Tata is getting big. Is getting big into electricity IoT monitoring for smart intelligent governance because of whether they want to check if there is any. There's a very common problem of whether the electricity is stolen. What popularly known as the Katyabas. So it's being whether Tata is getting into that area where they can monitor the electricity consumption. So in these different ways, there is IoT is being used in building smart cities as well as in governance. And I think the scope for IoT in these areas is very, very huge. I think people are working in a big way in this area. Yeah, does that answer the question, Ashish?
I hope that answers the question. So one more question from GIT. Any reference book or black book is available regarding?
Yeah, I would just point you to the internet. So that's something which is rather than referring to a particular book or any particular. I'm not aware of any book as such. Even when we studied or do research, it's generally over the internet is what we studied mostly over that. And I think there's a huge amount of resource that's available in the IoT space on the internet. The workshop that we're offering for free is one of the example of it. It's just one of the example of it, and there's a lot of material that's available on the internet. At the same time, remember that Internet of Things is a pretty spread out technology. You have got the hardware, the electronics, the software, the cloud computing, and a lot of these areas. And even when you get into, so what I would suggest is a good way to start off is take up something like a workshop or a course online, which will immediately get you a brief idea of it, and then start focusing on particular sector of it. So where you just focus on HTML or focus on web technologies or just focus on cloud or focus only on microcontrollers and sensors and so on. But I wouldn't suggest a particular book, but I would just suggest. I think Google is the best option. You need to start searching for it, and you will get lots and lots of material and very advanced material in the Internet of Things space for it. Or you can of course take up the workshop, which is free of cost in the next few days, and that will cover up all the basics of Internet of Things for you. Another question which I'm getting, and I love this question. Okay, it's very commonly I get. What will happen in terms of the job losses and skills as IoT makes devices and robots more intelligent? And this is one of the most common questions that I get. And the answer to that is, this is a question which was just asked somewhere in 1980s or, very commonly when they said, what about the job losses and skills that will happen as computers progress, right? That was one of the most important questions that got asked. And if you look at it, in reality, we didn't have computers actually losing jobs, but it actually opened up a huge amount of sector, right? I mean, you guys as engineers, if I see most of you sitting in computer labs and have computers in front of you, I've got a computer in front of me, which I'm using to talk. So very, very important area is that, yes, it will, I wouldn't say people will lose jobs, but it will change the dynamics of the job market. You will have less of people doing physical labor, but you will have a lot more people actually writing code and building electronics and doing more intelligent jobs. That's how I look at it. The next question that I see here is what kind of challenges that Indian IoT companies face while implementing the use of IoT for mass application. One immediate thing that comes to my mind challenge is the internet penetration. We don't have an internet penetration that's available in Europe and in America. So our internet speeds are much lesser and we don't have internet available in a lot of spaces. So I think that would be one of the biggest challenge that I see that Indian companies face when they are mass implementing IoT. Secondly is, again, in terms of the cost, when we are importing electronics parts and so on, a lot of times I've seen that electronics is cheaper in US in spite of the dollar rate than in India, because finally most of it gets imported from China. So that's another problem that comes in is the cost of electronic hardware is much higher. So I would say the internet penetration and high cost of hardware are a couple of challenges that Indian companies, at least we at Inventrom, do face in a big way. One of the challenge when you're building internet products in India is to make sure that your cost of the devices is as low as possible. As well as the challenge is to make sure that it consumes as little internet connectivity as possible with the thing. To moving on to the next question. So my name is Margaret from Karanya University, Coimbatore. What are the basic level projects that can be undertaken to get trained on IoT? I would say some of the very basic projects you can just start is connect your devices to the internet. You can start building a light bulb that you can control over the internet. That's something which is very basic, simple. You start off generally by controlling an LED, and then you connect a relay in between and start connecting that over the internet. And then you can work with another very common project that people get started off with is connecting an LDR to the internet, so that you can measure the light intensity and send that data to the cloud and monitor. I'm not sure how useful these are, but they're very ideal and perfect projects to generally get started. Start off with controlling an LED and start off with getting data from an analog sensor like an LDR, and that's a very, very good way to get started off with your Internet of Things development. Of course, again, both these are generally covered in the workshop, so you can just buy these components, and I would suggest you can get started off with the development on the IoT space with the thing. Anything else?
Any more questions? Pranav, there is this question from GIT in continuation to the earlier question. And the question is, basically, we are from academic background. So without book, we cannot go on into the basics of IoT. So that is the reason they asked for, some books or black book related to IoT.
Yeah. No. So what I'm saying here is that instead of referring to a particular book, what I would suggest is instead you can go on the internet and Google for it, and you've got a lot of material onto it. You've got free online tutorials and courses, and that's something generally a good way to get started off with IoT rather than referring to a particular book. So the only advantage of doing it from the internet is that you will get the latest of the technology. Book might be published some time back, but that's at least how we are learning. And that's how I think the learning is evolving today, that, people prefer you just go on the internet and you search for it, saying that I want to learn this thing, and it will throw up a lot of, particular queries onto it. But if you ask me if a particular website, generally I may not be able to suggest, but yeah, what we have done on our boltiot.com is actually had taken the material from different places and created it into a training tutorial. So you could just refer to that. If you ask me for a single thing, I would of course be biased into telling that, to refer to the Bolt IoT Workshop. The reason being that whatever we felt was the best is what we have compiled there. Into it. Otherwise, you can just refer to Google for things, and that's one of the good ways. But I'm not sure of a particular book as such in the IoT space which I would suggest. There are a few books, but I wouldn't really suggest them to be really great, because how the education is moving towards IoT is something which is a very quick evolving field. Most of the technologies were developed 6 months or a year back that are getting used in IoT. MQTT wasn't that popular about 2-3 years back. In fact, IoT term was coined in 2009, and if you look at most of the textbooks today, they must have been written before 2009 and 10. So what I would suggest is the best way is going online, searching for it. And if you have any doubts, queries in between on a specific topic, just feel free to drop us an email. And we'll be very, very happy to answer them. I've already shared my email ID with you, so you can always drop us an email in that regard.
Okay, so guys, we have to respect Mr. Pranav's time, and this will be the last question, which is up from DJ Sangvi. So it's on your screen.
Sure. Could you show us one application of how to connect phone with LDR or light? I don't have it something right now with me, so that may not be possible right away. But just generally, what we would do is I would download the Bolt IoT app on my phone and use the Bolt, and then again, write the code on it, suitable code that will connect the system to this to the LDR or light, and that's how it would work. What I can just do is let me search, and I'll just post the. Just give me 1 second, Inventrom. I'll share across one video that I have here with me. Yeah. Yeah. So to answer the question, since we have a little less time, I'm just sharing across the YouTube link. You can check that out. That's where we are controlling the light with a smartphone, or we're using a tablet in there. And I'll take this last question here. So I've shared the as answer to the previous question. I'll just switch to the other thing. And what will be the future of IoT application in testing and how it will be done? IoT is getting used in a big way for testing of, one is in terms of the software testing, but I see it being used in a big way for hardware testing. In fact, just to give one last example, and then we'll close for it, is a very interesting case where companies like IFB is now looking at, so what would generally happen is if my washing machine is broken, what I would do is I'd come to, you would give a call, somebody would come down and repair, check what is the issue with the washing machine, and then go back, then he will fetch the part and then come back. Instead of that, where IoT looks at using today in washing machines is that if a particular part is broken, your washing machine immediately connects to the Wi-Fi, sends the signal to the factory saying that so-and-so part is the machine is broken. They can just run a simulation there, check if it's the software issue, the hardware issue, and so on, and immediately they will send a person with the correct part rather than doing 2 trips. So that's one big example. I would say IoT gets used more in a hardware testing. I would not say, you might be referring to a particular software aspect like black box testing and so on. But I'm not sure. IoT is more related to connecting it to the physical devices than purely software. But yeah, in hardware testing or physical device testing, I think it's coming out to be one of the major fields out there. So I think is it the question? Anything else, or should we?
So I think we'll end the question and answer round here, and if there is, if there are any more questions left for Mr. Pranav. So Pranav has already shared his email ID. So if you can please share it once again for the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just do that. So yeah, so this is the mail ID as well as my colleague Ryan DeCosta. So I'm sharing both of our mail IDs here. You can mail to ppv@inventrom.com. And also as the workshop which I spoke about, you need to use the code vbindfree on boltiot.com, www.boltiot.com. It's valid only till 21st of July. So you've got about 3 days time. You can use the code vbindfree on www.boltiot.com. And you can get the workshop free, and you can always mail us, you can tweet to us, or as well as I've shared my phone number also. So if you have any queries, you can just feel free to drop an email and we'll be very, very happy to reply back to you.
So thank you so much for joining in and educating the students on what exactly IoT is all about. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All the students, thank you very much for joining in. And just to let you know, this session was sponsored by Simply Learn. Just have a look at what Simply Learn is all about.
ये क्या लगता है आपको ऑफिस?
ये शतरंज है और यहाँ सबकी एक ही इच्छा है, राजा रानी के केबिन तक पहुंचने की, पर सब किस्मत के भरोसे। ये आनंद है, simplylearn.com से सर्टिफिकेशन कर रहा है, बिग डेटा, डिजिटल मार्केटिंग, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट, प्लानिंग की है अपने करियर को आगे बढ़ाने की। किस्मत पे मत छोड़ो, टेक चार्ज ऑफ योर करियर, simplylearn.com. Get certified, get ahead.
Okay, so Simply Learn is on a mission to educate every student, to skill every student by its industry recognized 400 plus certified courses. So you can visit Simply Learn and there are a host of courses available on their website, right from big data to app development and digital marketing also. And every courses which is available on this website, that is Simply Learn, you can input the coupon code as VBIND30, and for this coupon code, that is VBIND30, WEBINT 30, you will get a flat 30% off. So there you go, where you can always visit this website, enter the coupon code and get a flat 30% off and educate yourself beyond your books. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Have a nice day.